is just going to be a fundamental overview of GreenChill's store certification program. So we have more and more people actually becoming aware of the store certification program and applying for store certification. Right now we have 49 total certified stores, 2 platinums, 13 golds, and 34 silvers. We're going into our really full year with the program, so we're actually getting stores that are recertifying for their second year, so that's also very good news. But we generally just about twice a year we do a there's just a little something. Okay, so we do a webinar to explain the store certification program. As the stores out there get certified and they get attention for being certified and attention from customers and the public, more and more people are kind of being tuned into the program. So we always have people coming to the program new. So I am going to briefly give a GreenChill overview, going to explain briefly why EPA has a store certification program and why you should want to achieve certification for your stores. I'll go into the criteria and the process and what you get, and then I'll give you a little bit of information about our experience thus far. So that's kind of the agenda for the day. As I said, since we are a much smaller group than we usually have on these webinars, just feel free to ask questions as we go along. So the GreenChill partnership has a mission to reduce refrigerant emissions. When we started out, the only thing that we had in the GreenChill partnership was this circle that's on the left, the Corporate Emissions Reductions Program. That's what you hear about when you hear about the GreenChill partners. Those are companies that have signed a partnership agreement. They've committed to measuring their refrigerant emissions every year and setting an emissions reduction goal. As we were getting a little bit of experience with that, we realized that the only way to achieve corporate-wide refrigerant emissions was through a lot of really hard work on a store-by-store basis. And what we needed was a program to recognize those efforts, those investments, and the benefits that individual stores were bringing to the environment. So we set up GreenChill's store certification program. Then our third program is the Advanced Refrigeration Program. That encompasses our webinars, all of our best practice guidelines. That's the program where we work together with the supermarket industry to just try to improve practices, share information. So today, of course, we're going to be focusing on the store certification program. We did a lot of thinking when we were developing the store certification program about whether this was something that EPA wanted to do. It was clear that the environment is a very important issue for consumers. We hear over and over again that consumers want to do business with companies and corporations, stores that share their values, and one of their most important values is their environmental values. So the environment is definitely an important issue for consumers. It's something that your customers pay attention to. Also a need for information. So, it seems that right now, everybody's claiming to be green for some reason or another, and there's a need to be able to communicate to your customers that it's not just you saying that you're green, but when EPA says that you're green, I think that that's a little bit more meaningful for customers. Obviously, refrigeration is a very large part of a supermarket's environmental footprint, so there's certainly a need to make some progress in this area. Thus far, there was not a way to recognize excellence in refrigerant management. In the U.S. Green Building Council's LEED system, you don't get points for reducing refrigerant leaks or reducing refrigerant charge size directly. So this system didn't exist yet. So we went to the drawing board and developed what I think is a pretty good system, and it's received a lot of really good feedback out there. So the reasons that you should want to achieve GreenChill certification for your store is mainly to do with recognition. So it's absolutely important for all of you to communicate with your customers about your environmental achievements, especially in the supermarket industry. I hear very often that we just do the right thing, but we don't talk about the right thing. And the problem is that everybody else out there is talking about doing the right thing, and somehow if you don't communicate with customers, what's going to be assumed by customers is that you're not talking about it because you're not doing it. So if you don't tell them, they don't know. Also, one of the most important parts, I think, of the store certification program is that it helps to gain recognition for your individual achievements or your team achievements within your company. I always say that the refrigeration engineers and the refrigeration team are the unsung heroes. Everything could be running perfectly 364 days out of the year, and if that's the case, nobody pays any attention to you whatsoever. You tend not to get recognition for those 364 days, and then one day that something goes wrong, all of a sudden the ice cream's melting, and all of a sudden everybody realizes you exist, and they start paying attention to you because something's gone wrong. This is a way to bring recognition for an important role that refrigeration management plays in supermarkets for the good things that you're doing all the time. It motivates your store employees to an extent that it's not even possible to explain verbally. I go to store openings for stores that have achieved certification. I talk about the importance of everything that these individual stores have achieved. Store employees, they just love being part of this. I mean, they of course want to drink clean water and breathe fresh air too. They care about the environment, and they also are all looking for a way to be part of environmental improvements. And what we hear from them usually is that environmental achievement awards usually go to the headquarters of big companies, and it's nice to them that they have achieved the award, and they individually at that store get that recognition and get to display the award at their store. And of course, GreenChill certification program does the communicating for you. So, we are out there saying that you did something for the environment, and that means a lot to the public. Finally, what we have also been hearing is that able to get GreenChill certification, it is most likely not the sole reason that decision makers at a company agree to finance advanced refrigeration technology, but it certainly helps. A lot of the technologies that enable you to achieve GreenChill certification, they do cost a little bit up front, not all of them, but some of them do. And the ability for you to get an award and recognition, it can help persuade the decision makers in your company to finance some of the improvements that you'd like to achieve. the general overview of the program, its purpose is to give stores recognition for greener refrigeration systems. We have 3 levels: platinum, gold, and silver. When we started out, we only had 2. We had gold and silver, and then we had a couple of stores that had achieved gold that were actually so much better than the gold standards. It was a shame to just give them gold. So we had to actually create that 3rd category for platinum level achievement. The criteria to achieve certification, they're objective criteria. They're all on the website. In fact, you can do the calculations yourself before you start filling out the application. Criteria are based on refrigerant charge size reductions, refrigerant leak rate reductions. Operational stores for newly constructed store, it's based on installation leak tightness and the type of refrigerants that are used. It's easy, it's fast, and it's free. So we have a certification center on the website, and you see the web address there for that. And I said these slides and this webinar will be up on the website also. So if you don't have pencil and paper ready to be able to write down that website, you can just go after the fact and find it in our archives. Your store certification is valid for 1 year, and it may be re-earned annually. We don't want to set up a system where you do a great job in year 1 and kind of don't do any leak checking, don't do any maintenance, and shortly after there your leak rate is as high as the national average. So we do require that you recertify every year. Once we get a couple years under our belts, that will allow us to give out awards like Continued Excellence Awards. You may so obviously lose your certification if you are not able to achieve the standards and criteria in the 2nd year when it comes time for you to reapply. But you can then reapply when your leak rate falls within the requirements again. So it's not that if you have a catastrophic leak in year 2, that's it. You can never get grille certification again. We do realize that things happen that are outside of your control. No matter how prepared and how good of a refrigeration management plan you have in place, sometimes you have catastrophic leaks that are due to factors that you just can't plan for. So we do allow you, though, to jump back in as soon as you fall within those requirements again. You do not have to be a GreenChill partner to receive GreenChill store certification. It is only for U.S. stores so far, and it's only for supermarket-type stores. And that just has to do with the fact that to set up these criteria, we based our desired improvements and reductions based on information that we had only for U.S. stores and only for supermarket-type stores. So that's just, we don't have standards for stores outside of the U.S. or for convenience stores or something like that. So, in terms of the different criteria that we have, for platinum, we actually have 2 different routes. We have not had anyone yet achieve certification under the 2nd route, which is using low GWP refrigerants. So I'm going to mainly concentrate on this first one for AFC-based refrigeration systems. You're not allowed to have any R22. That is the same for all 3 categories, platinum, gold, and silver. No R22 anywhere in the store. That is including the little self-contained units that companies give you, for free, making little quotation marks. You get for free, in exchange for carrying their products, obviously, in those little refrigerators. I realize that, you don't have control sometimes over placement of those types of units throughout the store, but what this is saying is that you have to be interested in that. You have to go through your store and make sure that those self-contained units do not have R22 in them. If they do, you have a choice. You can either get rid of them, replace them with other units that don't use R22, or you can choose, obviously, not to pursue certification. The refrigerant charge reductions are very significant for platinum certification. The 2 stores that have achieved platinum certification, they have just a couple 100 pounds of refrigerant for the entire system. You are reducing your refrigerant charge down to a maximum of a half a pound of refrigerant per 1,000 BTUs per hour. And you also need a low leak rate based on that lower charge. So, for instance, if you only have 300 pounds of refrigerant for your entire store, you are not allowed to leak, more than 15 pounds of refrigerant, right? It's 5% of 300. It's a newly constructed store. You have to follow GreenChill's installation and leak tightness guidelines, and available on the website. So far we haven't encountered any low GWP refrigeration systems, so I'm going to move on to gold. All the requirements are exactly the same, except you need to have reduced your refrigerant charge down to a maximum of 1.25 pounds of refrigerant per 1,000 BTUs per hour, and a low leak rate also based on that reduced refrigerant charge, so it has to be less than 15%. And then silver, again, same policy. We're talking about a maximum of 1.75 pounds of refrigerant, again, the low leak rate of 15%. The application forms are on GreenChill's website. There are 3 different forms, one for newly constructed stores, one for fully operational stores, and one for when you're recertifying. The only reason for the different applications is that for fully operational stores, you can provide us with 12 months of actual leak rate data. And newly constructed stores obviously are applying for GreenChill certification usually before they are up and running, so they don't have actual leak rate data at the time that they're applying. So we had to incorporate a couple of other things into the certification for newly constructed stores to try to make sure that stores that gain certification under that program are actually not going to leak. Applications are all easy. It's one page, front and back. The decision is fast. If you let me know that you're sending it, and I get it here and can take a look at it right away. We have actually given many people answers on the same day that they send us the application. It's free. There's no application fee whatsoever. There's no EPA cost. The only cost that comes into play is you get from us an award certificate that you can display, but we also have developed and made available very nice award plaques. If you want to have a plaque for your store, you do have to pay for the plaque yourself, and that is separate from me here. We have a whole process for that. Basically, if you have any questions about whether it is true that this is easy and this is fast, I encourage you to send an email or get in touch with people who have achieved certification already. Right now, Fresh and Easy has the most certified stores in the nation. Sprouts Farmers Market is not far behind. As I said, we have 49 certified stores out there. The information on those certified stores is all on the website too, and if you would like to get in contact with any of those people, just let me know, and I can provide their contact information for you, and you can talk to them about their experiences. It's the certificate that you receive from us, and then if you do decide to get the plaque, they're quite nice. They're designed to be big because we assume that this will be hanging up somewhere in the store. So I think they're about 14 by 12. They can either be displayed on a counter or they can be hung up on the wall. And clearly state the store name and whether you achieve platinum, gold, or silver. And depending on the time of the year and whether you're having a big store opening event, I try to attend people's store opening events when they've achieved certification, and these are just some pictures of a couple of stores. In the upper left-hand corner is the Price Chopper Colony store. They actually achieved gold certification in the first year because, as I said, that was... Yes?
Are you able to get those fuses?
Oh, sorry. Phone on mute? Okay. So the highest level that we had available was the gold level certification. They were one of the reasons that we decided we needed a platinum certification, and in year 2 they did qualify easily for platinum store certification, so now they have a platinum plaque. The upper right is a Sprout store, and in the middle it was our very first store that got certified was a Cub Foods. They achieved gold level certification. To the right is Michael Shepard of Harris Teeter holding his gold certification plaque. And all the way on the left with the big loaf of bread, that's Whole Foods in Lakewood, and they achieved silver level certification. In terms of the experience with the store certification program, so can I just ask you guys to mute your lines if you're not asking a question? We're getting a little bit of background noise, so thank you much. What we've learned so far is that charge size is key. Most likely, if you did not design your store from the ground up to achieve the GreenChill charge size specifications, it is going to be pretty tough for you to have a low enough refrigerant charge size. The thing is, you've got to plan enough time for the installation leak tightness checks if we're talking about a newly constructed store. We do have pressure test requirements and vacuum test requirements, and part of the requirements is that you are able to hold that pressure and vacuum for a certain period of time. So you do have to look at those ahead of time and make sure that you are taking those time frames into consideration. Whenever someone comes up with a situation that we did have so far, we develop a protocol. For instance, we had one GreenChill partner actually that had a combined commercial refrigeration and air conditioning system. We had to come up with a protocol to handle situations like that, and when we have happen, we put those protocols on the website too. It's important that we always handle those situations in the same way, which is why we establish a protocol. And ask your store architects and your equipment manufacturers and your service contractors for help with the application process. We actually had equipment manufacturers that when they identify and sell a greener system to a supermarket company, they will actually fill out the GreenChill store certification application for the company. And we've had service contractors also. They want to be part of this too, so they will actually, fill out the application for some of their customers and lead the way to stores getting certified. You're filling out the application, for the first time. It is pretty straightforward. It's pretty clear. But if you want to be, safe and make sure that you don't do extra work unnecessarily, just give me a call. Call early. Call often if you want to have a conversation and me take you through the application before you start filling it out. I'm very, very happy to do that. Call as often as you need with questions. It's a lot better for everybody if you are confused about something, if you call ahead of time. That's a lot easier than submitting the application and then we all need to kind of take a couple steps back because some of the information is incorrect. So it's better to clarify things before. As I said, if you give me a heads up, I can be ready for you. I can know that the application is coming in, and I can be ready, waiting, and willing here as soon as it arrives, and we can get an answer for you a little bit faster. And I encourage everybody to email me the applications with scanned attachments to it. That's for a couple reasons. Number one is speed. It takes a long time for regular mail to get to me here, not just because of the general lag time, but all regular mail that comes to the government has to first go through an irradiation process. So it can take up to 2 weeks for me to get regular mail. So I do encourage everyone to email me their applications. And finally, just special thanks as always, to the team of GreenChill partners that helped create this system. It wasn't that I just sat here, by myself and developed all of this. GreenChill, it's the partners that make everything happen and make everything work. So in this case, we had John Perry from Farm Fresh, and Scott David from Hill Phoenix, and at the time it was Steve Hagler and still is Schaefer from Hussman. Travis Lumpkin at the time was with Kaiser Warren, and Bruce Hirlmeyer from Zero Zone. They were the ones who made this happen. And I do have a technical steering committee for the program so that when new situations come up, they have a technical team you can talk to, and we can figure out solutions and make decisions on how to handle certain equipment or situations. And the technical steering committee is Buzz Schaefer, and Travis Lumpkin, Scott Martin, David Hind, and Bruce Hirlmeyer. So those are the only slides that I had here about the program. So does anyone have any questions? No questions at all.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Steve Hamby with Novar. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
I was trying to off mute there. Very interested in the GreenChill partnership, and of course all the companies that you talked about and those distinguished gentlemen I've worked with in the past. Any opportunities for a third party, like a controls company, Novar, involved and a little more upfront, either technical level or as part of the steering committee to aid supermarkets in this initiative to attain GreenChill?
There are numerous opportunities for a broad range of stakeholders to get involved with the store certification program. As I said, we actually have had, I would say, 6 or 7 stores achieve certification because a service contracting company took the initiative to fill in the application and gather all the information together. And you can believe that supermarket greatly appreciated it when they found out that they would qualify for a GreenChill award. Equipment manufacturers, any equipment manufacturer, if you are in the position to gather the information from the store, you are in the position to, the only thing I can think of is kind of sponsor. That's not exactly what I mean, but you can fill out the information from the store. The only thing is that it is the store's name and the store that is on the line for ensuring that the information is accurate. So if you are not an actual supermarket or store employee and you are filling out an application, it does have to be signed by an authorized company representative from that store.
Okay.
So that is that's a way that everybody can get involved. And we know that there are a lot more stores out there. Human out in California has actually, I think that they must be responsible probably for about 10 store certification applications, just because they went forward out there and one of their regional people out there just basically identified all of the stores that he had sold equipment to that he thought would be able to achieve certification, and he went to all of them and he filled out the paperwork and got their signatures.
Okay, that's very good information, because when you go into a fixed store, with technology that is maybe from the 1990s or so, and then you go to a site audit and you implement new strategies and refrigeration leak detection equipment and so forth, they've seen a metal reduction in both their outlay as well as refrigerant leak. That's the opportunities that I guess I was mainly talking about. I mean, you see things are available to you, and that's when that store obtained the GreenChill certification.
Absolutely. Now, we have run into in the past, I mean, just, to kind of, put everything on the table, a lot of stores that have achieved significant leak rate reductions, when they fill out the application, what is preventing them is the charge size reductions. So, because I'm part of the Stratospheric Protection Division here, we concentrate on the ozone layer. We focus in on refrigerants, so not energy use. There are so many other programs at EPA that focus on energy use, obvious one being Energy Star. We don't want to duplicate efforts. We really are just focusing on refrigerants. So limiting factor for existing stores does seem to be refrigerant charge. So you're going to want to take a look at that formula, and before you start doing work to get a store certified, just check first to see if they can achieve the store certification standards. And if they can, then you'll be good to go.
Very good.
Glad you're interested. Any other questions? Questions on the criteria or the standards? Is there anybody out there that has achieved store certification? I know that most of the people that have achieved store certification, they've through this webinar a couple times already. So I'm assuming that most of them are not online. Is anybody from a certified store out there that can just give their feedback on what process is easy? I don't want to pick on anybody, so I don't want to look at the names here and just call on somebody. Okay. Questions from equipment manufacturers, chemical manufacturers, this tech's on the line, their stores. Okay. If not, go ahead and up here. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for attending. And if you have any follow-up questions, feel free to contact me. Look for the invitation for our April webinar. Actually going to be on remodeling a store, a centralized DX store, and modeling it as a secondary loop store. So I believe the date of that, if I'm correct, is April 28th. So we will be sending out the invitation soon, and I think that's going to be a really interesting one. We've got the people who designed the store to be remodeled from a DX system over to secondary loop, and we've got the company that did the project, and they were satisfied with the results. They're moving on to do another couple of those, so they'll be able to share their experience with you. So I think it's going to be pretty interesting. I want to be added to the webinar invitation list, and you aren't already, just send me an email. It's easy to get you on the invitation list. And if you are not yet on the GreenChill LinkedIn group, that is a fantastic way to notified of all GreenChill events and everything going on with GreenChill. So I encourage you all to join the GreenChill LinkedIn group. Okay. Well, thank you very much again for attending, and feel free to give me a call. Okay. Bye, everybody.